It's Wednesday, February 9th, 2022. A lot to talk about today. Before I do, please make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to share this video and make sure that you subscribe to this channel. But without further ado, I want to get right into what is happening. Markets up across the board today. And you know, when I watch these bubbles continue to inflate and I watch this market continue to soar, it is so concerning. If I was watching things coming down 200 or 300 or 400 points a day here and there, and just watching some of the air being let out of this bubble, I could be a lot more comfortable with that. I could deal with that. That would actually ease my concern quite a bit. But we're watching the opposite. We are watching them just juice these bubbles with more air, inflating them larger than ever. And when I see the Dow Jones going up over another 300 points today, based on what? Based on higher interest rates, based on higher oil prices, based on higher inflation, this is what's pushing the markets. It's concerning because it's all being done artificially, and it may be done on purpose. Are they going to inflate this till these markets burst? Is this being done on purpose? But they're not letting the air out. These bubbles continue to get bigger and bigger, and they're going to be more dangerous when they explode. They're talking possibly 7 rate hikes in 2022. Is that even possible? Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. I still think it will be 3 to 4, 7. That's what they're talking about today. Markets don't even care. They just go up and up. And I jotted down some data today. Look at consumer debt, $15.6 trillion. We have over $1 trillion in credit card debt, $1.42 trillion in auto loan debt, $1.73 trillion in student loan debt, and the markets go up, and oil over $90 a barrel today. How do you like it out here in California when it costs you over $5 a gallon to put gas in your overpriced automobile? So again, the news, the data is not positive, yet the markets continue to surge, and that should really concern all of us. Also, people have taken on so much debt. While people were at home collecting free money, they were also collecting more debts. And we are going to watch, no matter what anybody says, interest rates are going up, whether it's 2 times, 3 times, 5 times, or 7 times, they are going to go up. And the cost to service the debt is also going to go up. The cost to buy a home, to get a mortgage, is going to go up. The cost to get a loan to buy that automobile, going to go up. The cost to use that credit card, going to go up, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this may not affect the 1%, but it's going to affect the middle class, the upper middle class, lower middle class, and the poor. And I was just thinking today, you know, these people out buying boats and RVs and cars and sand rails, they don't even look at the price. They just look at the monthly. Can I afford the monthly price of this automobile, of this RV, the boat, the sand rail? That's it. It doesn't matter that the RV might cost $150,000. What's the monthly? Can I afford the monthly? And they don't think about a rainy day. They don't think if a spouse loses a job. They don't have money put away. Look, 80% of this country is living paycheck to paycheck, and we got people living like rock stars, like big shots, living paycheck to paycheck. 60% of this country doesn't have $1,000 saved up for an emergency, but they have an $80,000 sand rail or an $80,000 boat out in Lake Havasu. This is going to get people in very, very big trouble. Again, they're looking at the monthly payment. Can I make the monthly payment? They don't think about an emergency, a spouse losing a job, they themselves losing a job. Same thing with a house, people buying homes. Can they make the monthly? They don't think about how much it's going to cost to insure the home, to take care of the upkeep, to pay the taxes. They don't think about things like this, the repairs. And people, I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, people are going to learn a valuable lesson here. They are so overextended, living so far beyond their means. One little event is going to change their life. And interest rates are going to change a lot of people's lives, and it's going to change, I believe, the direction of these markets. One thing I want to talk about today is surviving the affordability crisis. Everything is going up, ladies and gentlemen. The price of cars, new, used, the price of insurance, the price of food, the price of rent, everything is going up, and we've got to be able to survive this affordability crisis. And one thing to do in order to survive it is not go out and buy dumb stuff. People continue, we have a spending addiction in America. The system cannot stop spending, and the consumer cannot stop spending. And sooner or later, it's going to end up in a very, very bad place for this country. This country needs accountability. People don't have accountability. The system has no accountability. They just print money, and people have things called credit cards and pay now, buy later programs. They have payday loans. So people have become accustomed to getting things right now, no matter what the cost. But, we have people buying cars today. We hear, oh, you can't get a car. Everything is sold out. All-time high prices in new cars, used cars. Also, right now, it's costing more to borrow money to buy that car. So people are out buying overpriced cars and paying more to finance these cars. And you think these people aren't going to get themselves into trouble? So I want to switch gears here for a minute. There is a show on YouTube called Meet Kevin. Meet Kevin, very, very smart guy. He's made a lot of money on YouTube. He's made money in the stock market, in real estate. Very, very bright guy. He even ran for governor here in California not that long ago. And he came out recently, maybe it was today or yesterday, and he said he has sold off all of his stock except 1%. 99% of all his stock he has just sold, and most of his California real estate he has sold. And I was watching this, and I jotted down some notes. I'm going to paraphrase through some of the things that he said, and it's very, very interesting. He says, substantial pain is ahead of us. Let me repeat. Substantial pain is ahead of us. Central bank policy action in March could have catastrophic effects. If it's not March, these effects could come in 2023, but they're coming. He believes markets are absolutely mispricing the risk we face. Inflation likely to persist. Companies all talking about price increases. And as he's talking about this, I was thinking to myself, I think people, the smart money, know they know that these bubbles are so overinflated, and they have to be thinking that is this market going to go up another 3%, 4%, 5%? And what is the risk? The risk is it could go down 50, 60, 70, 80 plus percent. And are you willing to risk 3, 4, or 5% and risk that against losing 40, 50, 60, 70, 80%? You're taking a huge risk to earn an extra 3, 4, or 5%, knowing that it's very, very possible these markets could crash and that we could lose 50, 60, 80 plus percent. And I think that's what Kevin has determined. He thinks that people out there somehow believe the Federal Reserve is going to resolve inflation and that the consumer is just overnight going to pay less. Says it's not going to happen. He says it could take 4 or 5 years for this inflation to clear up. A substantial risk in this market not priced into evaluations. We are in the beginning of pain, he says. We are in the beginning of pain. Be fearful. He quotes Warren Buffett here. Be fearful when others are greedy. Investors are really greedy right now, he says. Doesn't matter if the Fed has our back or not. We will go to the moon without the Fed. That's what he believes people are thinking. That's the mentality of people right now. They now don't even believe they need the Fed, that these markets will now go to the moon even without the Fed. This is how drunken on the economic euphoria people have gotten. Be careful about what you think of the Fed. We don't know if they're going to purposely just destroy these markets. Does the Fed really have your back, or is the Fed purposely going to just destroy these markets by raising rates and getting inflation under control? Will it be purposely done as a wealth transfer? Comment down below. Let me know. your thoughts. Kevin goes on to say this. And these are all reasons why he sold 99% of his stocks and sold his homes in California. Excessive spending hikes are crazy. Credit card spending, crazy. Excessive borrowing, excessive household debt, excessive margin, excessive real estate prices. All reasons why he's out. He knows this is going to land us all into a very, very bad place. He says uneducated investors don't believe we are nearing a downturn. He believes that we are. I believe we are. You believe we are. He says, I believe a change is in order. I presently have sold 99% of my stock holdings and some real estate. 60 to 70% risk of recession in the next 6 to 12 months. He is prepared to enter the market when there is true fear. And this is personally why I'm stacking cash and keeping my powder dry, keeping money on the sidelines, because the blue light sales are coming, ladies and gentlemen. They're coming in commercial real estate, residential real estate, and in the stock market. I want to share an article with all of you that comes from wolfstreet.com. I read this today. It's titled, "It only took $11 trillion in free money plus forbearance and eviction bans to perform this miracle." If you get a minute, check it out. And look, make sure you do your own due diligence, do your own homework, verify what I'm saying. But I'm going to paraphrase through this article. It's just fascinating, and it is just warning all of you and myself that things are not what they seem. $11 trillion of stimulus was handed out in just the past 22 months. $4.7 trillion in printed money, $6.6 trillion that the government borrowed and handed out, on top of which came the huge forbearance programs and eviction bans that allowed consumers to not pay their obligations and not get their credit dinged when they failed to pay their obligations. There are massive obligations out there, including the worst CPI in 40 years, the most splendid housing bubble ever, along with spiking rents and the highest speculative bubbles ever, with wealth inequality ballooning to the worst levels ever, and consumers flush with money went on a huge spending spree. It just amazes me every time I read things like this that people weren't even working. They were just sitting at home waiting for free money and going and spending it, not doing anything but speculating and gambling that money in Ponzi schemes and in these markets, going and buying big screen TVs, buying automobiles, and paying down credit cards so they could use those credit cards again, because many of them were already getting tapped out using credit cards. It says in the article, that spending binge led to the worst trade deficit ever. They are making countries, ladies and gentlemen, or we made countries wealthier by taking that free money and spending it on the cargo that was coming in on those ships on the West Coast from other countries, mainly Asia. So people were taking the free money that was printed and borrowed, spending it on goods and services made in other countries. So that wealth left here, went there, made other countries wealthier, while it made us more dependent on the system and other countries, and more poor. That's what it did. While we began to see inflation occur because of all the money printing. So now we have inflation on top of it. So we've made other countries wealthier. We've become dependent on other countries, and we've become more poor as an individual and as a nation because of all this, and we've devalued our currency. With trillions of dollars injected and forbearance, also interest rate suppression, they were able to hold off mortgage delinquencies and foreclosures. Now delinquent mortgages have ticked up 1.9%, ticked up 1.6% since 2019. Ongoing forbearance programs are preventing delinquent student loans from being tagged delinquent. We're seeing so much of this. Things are not what they seem. Again, if we did not inject all this printed and borrowed money into the economy, into the markets, if we didn't give people free money, they wouldn't be able to go out and buy things at Walmart, and they wouldn't be able to buy big screen TVs and automobiles. They wouldn't be able to speculate and gamble in the markets and other Ponzi schemes. So what if we were unable to borrow and print all this fake money? Where would we be right now? We'd be in the greatest depression of our lives. But unfortunately, the one that we're going to get now, because of everything we've done, because of all the money printing and all of these Ponzi schemes and all the lies and criminality, now we're going to get an even worse depression. We saw subprime loans in the auto industry before the crisis. And I talked about this a couple years ago, how literally they weren't even doing a credit check on many people. They weren't qualifying people. They weren't qualifying where people worked, if they even had a job, or how much money they were really making. We saw subprime loans in the auto industry. They were doing anything to get rid of all these cars. We were flooded with cars. Auto delinquencies were 5.1%, the highest since the Great Recession just a couple years ago. Then came the tsunami of all of this free money. Credit card delinquencies were running about 8%. Then came the tsunami of all this money. All this is not a problem when you have free money. But now the free money is done, ladies and gentlemen, and it's going to be a very, very big problem. Some folks say the Fed can never taper QE, that they can't raise interest rates, and that it can never shed assets. Beware, there could be a lot of financial turbulence and disruption ahead, ladies and gentlemen. This money has got to be paid back. This money that was printed has caused very, very serious inflation. We're going to get the new CPI number on Thursday. I plan for it to be up. They're expecting it to be about 7.2%. You and I know it's much higher than that. We know right now inflation is over 15%. But people are delusional. They're absolutely delusional. And many people, they're going to really, really see some hard times, because they are living so far over their heads, so beyond their means. It's crazy. I'm going to wrap the video up right here. I don't give financial advice, but continue to buy gold, buy some silver, put some cash away, have security, put food, water away, have things that you can barter with, put that away. Also, Aaron Early is posting another video tonight on how to store your precious metals and other assets. Make sure you check that out at Texas Silver. The channel is Texas Silver. Should be very, very interesting, but he's going to share with all of us the proper way to store precious metals and other assets. So it should be a good video. Check that out this evening. Other than that, I'm going to wrap it up right here. Have a wonderful day. Be safe out there, and be very, very cautious, ladies and gentlemen. So much happening. Don't believe everything you see. When I see these markets doing what they do, it scares me. I would much rather see these markets coming down slowly, but we are watching them just elevate, soar. And this bubble, when it bursts, it is going to be biblical.